Thank you for being with us today for News Center Maine at 4. I'm Brian Nicono.
I'm Bailey Cornick.
And I'm Ryan Breton.
Plenty of news to get to for you this afternoon, including a boat crash off the Maine coast left 4 people in need of a rescue. Of the latest on the overnight marine incident in Wells.
Plus, the family of Johann Sebastian Guerrero is considering legal action after his death. What their attorney is saying about the shooting, the federal response, and the questions the attorney wants answered.
And later, relentless summer storms sweeping across the country, including today. Tornadoes, deadly floods, and more dangerous weather threatening millions as another tropical storm forms in the Gulf.
All right, it is all coming up. Thankfully, the rain you're keeping an eye on is not significant like that.
No, and actually there has been a lot of severe weather today to our south. Tornadoes in New Jersey, flash flooding around New York City and Connecticut. We'll get kind of the remnants of those storms. I do think we'll hear some thunder tonight, but we're not going to get it as bad as they have.
Definitely not taking the brunt of it.
No, and you can see here on the satellite radar loop, look at all the lines of storms to our south and west. You've got one that's working through New York City now, another one about to move into central Mass in the Boston area, and this is coming north, so I think we will get some thunder tonight and some needed downpours. It'd be good if we could get some rain tonight because it's been a pretty dry month. All we have locally right now, just a few showers. Nothing that's really all that heavy. Waterville, a few drops coming down, same up around the Carrabassett Valley and back into some of the western Maine mountains as well. Here are the numbers at 4 o'clock. Wind coming in out of the southeast. We've increased the clouds quite a bit today too. So that's held a lid on our temperatures. We're mostly in the lower 70s right now. Dew points have come up a little bit, so it's more sticky. And tonight it is going to be much more muggy as all that rain comes in. Breezy day, too. Winds gusting at times over 20 miles per hour. So if you're going to be out for the next few hours, that line of storms to the south in Massachusetts probably starts coming into southern Maine around 6 or 7 o'clock. And it'll continue to work through. We'll have waves of showers, downpours with some rumbles of thunder overnight. It's a mild and muggy night with lows only in the upper 60s. More on what follows all this coming up in a few minutes.
Ryan? Brian, thanks so much. Before we get to our top stories tonight, check out some of this video right here. It was just after midnight last night. A boat crashed into Bibb Rock, which is off the coast of Wells. The boat then started sinking, and it prompted Wells Fire Department to respond. Crews rescuing 4 people on the boat. They were taken to Perkins Cove, where they were treated. Wells police say that boat is currently at the beach, the one you see here, and that it is connected to last night's incident. And there are plans to have it removed from the beach. The fire department says this now marks the 2nd marine rescue in that area this season. Well, the Maine Democratic Party is holding that nominating convention coming up this Saturday. It's happening in Bangor to formally choose a replacement for U.S. Senate primary winner Graham Plattner.
Today, the party released its list of qualified candidates, and our Phil Hirschkorn has it for us this afternoon. Hey, Phil.
Hey, Bailey and Brian. Petitions were due yesterday and verified today. 500 signatures of registered Democratic voters statewide, including 50 names from at least 8 counties. The party's list turns out to be quite short, as this campaign is evolving from a contest to a coronation. Troy Jackson, David Costello, Dan Kleban, and Sandra Pelletier are the only 4 of the 13 candidates who entered this rebooted U.S. Senate race to qualify to appear on the convention ballot. Jackson is the frontrunner, who some are calling the presumptive nominee because he claims 481 of the 500 delegates, or 96%, elected at county caucuses last weekend are loyal to him. With just 20 votes from the 101-member Democratic State Committee, Jackson will clinch. Costello has spent 30 years in public service, mostly in Maryland state government and overseas. He placed 3rd in the June 9th Senate primary with 8% of the vote, behind Graham Plattner and Janet Mills.
These types of conventions, if you get deadlocked, they look for an alternative. And I think I'm the type of candidate who can appeal to all sides.
Kleban co-founded Maine Beer Company. This was his first run for office. He's already endorsed Jackson.
I'm a complete political outsider.
Pelletier is the only one of a half-dozen newcomers to qualify. She's a salesperson and women's health care advocate from Caribou, the hometown of Republican Senator Susan Collins, about whom Pelletier says,
I think she's finally gotten to a point that she now just is completely brainwashed by the Trump administration.
Nirav Shah submitted almost enough signatures to qualify, but decided not to finish his petition after he decided to drop out Sunday and endorse Jackson. Jordan Wood says he did submit enough signatures, but his spreadsheet summarizing all the names wasn't complete until after the deadline, so his petition didn't count. Regardless, Wood has also suspended his campaign and endorsed Jackson.
Okay. Every day there's a new change here. Phil, we'll see what happens in the rest of the week. Thanks for joining us. Last week, we spoke with the first ex-wife of David Brulette. She and others have identified him now as the ICE agent who shot and killed Johann Sebastian Guerrero.
And now we are hearing from his second ex-wife. Christian Harsa has been digging into this and joins us with more. Hey, Christian.
Hi, Brian and Bailey. Lucinda Brulette told News Center Maine in a statement that her relationship with David was one of, quote, persistent pattern of abuse, intimidation, manipulation, fear, and control. The instances from their marriage are outlined in court documents. David and Lucinda filed for a total of 11 temporary protections from abuse in Augusta District Court against one another. In those reports and her recent statement, Lucinda describes David as violent and abusive. Sometimes that abuse was directed at his children, according to her written court testimonies. In her recent statement to News Center Maine, Lucinda wrote, "I have intentionally been careful not to speculate about the incident itself. I was not there. I do not know exactly what happened. What I can speak to is my own experience. If you were to ask me whether I believe David Brulette is capable of this level of violence, my answer is unequivocally yes." We have tried reaching out to David Brulette. His phone number on record has been disconnected, and past attorneys have not gotten back to us if they're still representing him. Brian and Bailey, back to you.
All right, Christian Harsa in the studio for us tonight. Thank you, Christian.
Well, we turn now to our Alex Haskell, who spoke with attorney Benjamin Gideon, who is representing the family of Guerrero. Gideon says he's looking at filing a civil lawsuit against the U.S. government on the family's behalf. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Bailey. So Gideon tells me any lawsuit would focus on what he describes as the conduct of both the federal government and the ICE agent who shot Guerrero. Gideon says Guerrero had done nothing wrong the morning he was shot and was simply driving to work. He says surveillance video supports that claim. Gideon also argues the ICE agent's use of force was unreasonable. He further claims the agent was not qualified for the job, citing what he describes as a history of domestic violence, mental illness, and a lack of prior work experience. I asked Gideon what he thinks of the Department of Homeland Security's explanation for shooting Guerrero.
And why do you think ICE says that he weaponized his car?
Well, I think it's important to understand that our government routinely lies about these events. So in other states where the government has made statements about what occurred in the lead up to shooting somebody or harming somebody, their statements have been proved false later through the emergence of video.
So Gideon says there's no timeline yet for when a lawsuit could be filed, but he says he plans to move as quickly as possible. Separately, News Center Maine has reached out to DHS and ICE about how the Biddeford agent was vetted before being hired, but we have not heard back.